Hey there YouTube, hey there Reddit, wherever you guys are viewing this from, DL Coats 1, bringing you back with another Bog Garden update. This is July 5th, 2021, and let's see what we've got going here. So I just had to do a bunch of trimming, as you guys noticed, especially here on the dente. So we've got, you know, a lot of the larger traps died. I still got to go through and trim some of these. It's just a bit hard since, you know, a lot of those traps are kind of real in there, and very small. Like, compared to my finger, you can see why I have trouble. So I got to get in there with, like, tweezers or something to get most of those out. Our Tokainensis here, we only got a couple flowers to bloom, and unfortunately, I think I might have missed the chance to get the seeds on these. Yeah, the seed pods already look empty. I'm not sure if that is the start of one. That could just be clover. I gotta give it a little bit longer. Hopefully though, we got some of these seeds, if it produced any, to spread in there. Sorry about the angle, guys. I keep forgetting I'm on a phone and I've got it tilted sideways, and sometimes I move the camera just to an angle where you guys have trouble viewing it. Anyways, our Filiformis Tracy here is actually doing quite marvelous. As you see, we've got 3 good-sized strands with another coming up, and 2 more starting to grow in there. So I stopped filling this thing like practically almost to the top, and I only started filling this tray about halfway up, and that seems to have done the trick because the Tracy is doing marvelous. This is not getting burnt as much. Our dente, however, we gotta wait on that. Some of these were also getting sun baked, and so I had to trim 2 of those traps, as you guys noticed. But other than that, it's doing wonderful. The uticulary on it is still unfortunately dead, but I don't know if that's just dormant. I just don't know if it's because summertime or not. But yeah, hopefully. Our typical here, wow, just damn, those traps. They are pretty good size, I will say. Compared to my thumb, as you guys can see, those traps are just absolutely massive. I'm still not sure what subspecies this is. It might be B52. And speaking of B52s, our Lowe's B52s are absolutely thriving. Once again, within the past month, I've only had to trim a single trap off this one, no others. Each leaf has actually been lasting quite a long time. Finally got some new growth coming out of this one. Other than those 4 traps, you can see we've got at least 2, maybe 3 more traps finally starting to sprout. So glad to see this one starting to get some growth back to it. Had to give it a couple bugs, so hopefully that helped it out. You know, just I think maybe too much energy spent, but yeah, anyways. Our dragon here, on the other hand, we've got some nice, lovely summer traps coming off that one too. And actually, you know what? I'm wondering, this one may not have been a dragon at all. In fact, I think this one might have been a Walmart B52. Which honestly, if it is, that's perfectly fine. You know, obviously a lot of the stores label these as typicals. The thing is, you can tell when it's clearly a B52. B52s are highly obvious. They've got the nice rosette pattern. But this one here is clustered, kind of like this typical. So I'm just wondering, maybe that is a dragon. It's kind of hard to tell. It produces various size traps, so I'm not 100% sure. It produces some small, some large, as you guys can see, and a lot of those traps are still new. So it's definitely in its summer growth period. None of these smaller traps are dying off. In fact, like I said, a lot of them are still fresh. So it could just be splits, younger plant, older plant mix. I'll give it some time and, you know, let it do its thing and let it kind of spread a bit and figure it out for going on from there. Our Speculata, on the other hand, absolutely beautiful. Look at that nice sticky dew formation on all that. I mean, just beautiful looking. We've got a few more flower stalks coming up. Something I found out, and I did do a little bit more research, the flower stalks here are also apparently carnivorous. The stalks are like landmines to flying insects like gnats and such, so you pretty much want to leave the stalks in. I just brushed that with my pinky. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the stalks this time since I let this one grow and bloom and flower and do its thing, and it's still doing great here. I've been trying to continuously guide it to stay in here, but the wind has been making that difficult, and I'm trying to guide it to stay in because I would love to get some seeds off this thing. Maybe I'll wrap it here with the fly traps, and maybe hopefully they'll hold them in place. Yeah, maybe if I can just like, kind of like rustle it up under those traps right there. Sorry, I'm just trying to coax it here. I know I'm on video and trying to update you guys, but this is gonna kind of bother me if I can't keep these down here to get the seeds. Okay, there we go. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Neighbor's dog. No worries. Our Capensis, though. Look at that growth. Look at that. So many moths. So many moths. The moths are like going crazy to this thing at nighttime, especially. I have a LED bulb in there, as you guys can see, and I leave it on at nighttime, especially, and it just attracts all the gnats and moths and everything straight to this because the dew just glistens and shimmers, and it draws them actually over pretty good. And it's been actually helping out the sundews quite a bit. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be easy to see there, but let's see if I can get that in focus here. The Tracy, you can see, just absolutely littered with gnats and such. You know, same thing here with the spatulata, absolutely littered all over. Same with the, you know, the Tochinensis over there. You know, the sundew, or my Capensis here, has a few of them here and there as well. It does get a lot more of these moths and such. Plus, I do give it the occasional ant when it doesn't seem to catch anything. But considering how many moths and gnats this one's just been catching lately, I mean, look at the beautiful dew production on that. It's just glistening, super bright, super beautiful. You know, I think my watering method here that I've been doing, I put basically tape up just below the 2-inch holes. This pot's got a lot of side drainage holes. I don't know if they're showing up on camera or not due to the shadowing, but this pot has normal side drainage holes, and so I also drilled a bunch of holes in the side, and I put tape just above where the top holes are drilled. On top of that, my pond liner here. By the way, this is a $20 pond liner from Lowe's. This is just their standard, you know, 26 by 7 or 26 by 9 or 26 by 7, one of the two. But it's the UV treated, stays cool in the sun. You can have this above or below ground, fits the standard whiskey barrel size, all that stuff. These are absolutely amazing for larger collections. They stay, I mean, we had a heat wave here recently where the temp was reaching 104, and because I'm on the second floor surrounded by obviously concrete patio, and then we've got this fake wood with stucco underneath, you know, it's a lot hotter up here. It's at least 10 to 15 degrees hotter up here. So we were hitting at least maybe 117 up here on the second floor. And so these plants did get a little bit of heat. You know, they did get a little bit of sunburn because of that. I tried to keep them in the shade. But these but the planter itself stayed cool, sorry. It stayed absolutely cool. It didn't even heat up barely. I mean, it does a wonderful job, and with as much water as this holds, it's just, honestly, it's great. But I drilled a bunch of holes just like every so often here in the bottom, and this has done an absolute wonderful job. I drilled the holes about 2 inches up from the ground, and the reason why I did that is because this bottom part here acts as the tray, so it holds the 2 inches of water. Now, at least every day, I've had to purify at least roughly about a gallon of water through my zero water filter. And every day, this has gone bone dry here in the center tank during the summer. So I have had to water every day. Now, the good thing is I've filled this up to the duct tape line. The water drains in. If it holds too much, the excess drains out here. It holds at least 2 inches. And the best part is because this pot's raised a little bit because I don't have rock underneath. It is pure peat perlite mix all the way to the bottom. I know I probably should have put it like a gravel layer or a volcanic stone layer or something, some sort of substrate layer over my standard media, or to put my standard media over, but I just said screw it, and honestly, it's worked so far so good. I haven't had any issues. Probably next spring I'll do that, only because most of these plants are still young, but I haven't had a need or a reason to do that in the meantime. But yeah, so the water pretty much drains out, and as you see, it still gives me a good water level indicator. And like I said, this will not hold more than 2 inches of water. You can see the excess is still draining out partially, in fact, if that shows up on camera right there. Yeah. So Scarlet Bells here, also doing absolutely wonderful. Again, starting to get bushy here on this one. Nice big bushy. This is the one from Christensen's nursery. Again, the one from California Carnivore. Still some slow growth, but we got some new traps starting on it. That recent heat wave did a number on a lot of these guys, like I said. Again, I'm not sure if this is a purpurea or rosea. It's some sort of hybrid, though. That's all I know. I want to assume it's purpurea, but it's going to be really hard to tell until this thing starts producing flowers, and I'm not sure when that's going to be. But the reason why I think this is purpurea is because of this. This is the wild invasive purpurea growing at a local floating bog. So, you know, this actually did fairly well in the recent heat wave. Same with the flava, which is also from the local bog and an invasive. The flava is actually, as you see here, starting to produce new leaves. In fact, we've got one of those parasail leaves that they produce here. This is not a trap, I don't think. Well, actually it might be. The head of this leaf is starting to somewhat look like one. It might be. But it has been producing new traps, at least. They did get a little hurt in the sun, but they might be okay. I haven't had any issues with it yet. It doesn't appear to be dying. In fact, it still appears to be maintaining its nice yellow-green color. Our Drosera rotundifolia here that came up with it, which is a local native sundew. Unfortunately, this one did get pulled with it just because they get stuck and absolutely tangled in with the roots. I didn't mean to pull it because I didn't want to pull this because of the fact that it is a native, but like I said, they just get tangled in sometimes, and when you're trying to pull small samples and they happen to be the only real small samples you could really find, you know, because you're not wanting to pull the bigger ones yet because you don't want to risk shocking and losing them. Yeah. Our fly traps here, also a local invasive, non-native, at the same floating bog. These got really battered up in that heat wave. The others did fairly well, very, very well, except for the dente, of course. But again, the local native, or local non-native invasive, didn't stand up to it. I had to trim a lot of it. The flowers here the other hand, though, it does have a bunch of new growth coming off both rhizomes. And the flowers stalks are doing great. In fact, I think this one might have already bloomed and might be producing seeds. It's really hard to tell. Those look like seed pods. If someone knows better than I do, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know if those are seed pods, because I definitely want to try to get some of those in here, because I plan to redo all this come spring. This is going to be moved more towards the edge, and I'm going to, Sarracenia, purpurea, and sundews, and then fly traps and smaller sundews in the front. Kind of give it a larger to smaller as it goes more towards the front. Give it a nice display look, make it look nicer, put more plants in here, give it a more even spread, and try to get it more natural looking. I'm also going to try to do a moss wall fountain as well, so I can attach some like more, hopefully more spatulata, maybe some pinguicula, and then eventually, if I can, I'll try to transition it to potentially inside, possibly, I'm not sure, more of a greenhouse situation for sure. Eventually, if I can, you know, get house, like an actual house, I'm trying to still work on that. But, you know, when that eventually comes, hopefully I can get that done, and, you know, we can get a better setup for these. I would love to get, like, a nice moss wall fountain set up with, like, some pinguicula, or maybe some more Tochinensis or spatulata. You know, something that grows nice, small, bushy, you know, maybe some nice, little, you know, some of those smaller sundews. I forget what those ones are called, not the pinguicula, but, you know, but yeah, hopefully these fly traps will make it. Again, this was a sample thing for the horticulturalist. I haven't heard back from him just yet. I did let him know that I got the samples. I don't know if he's been swamped lately or what. I'll give him a quick call or message here sometime and get an update from him. But I do want to get those to him, because he did ask for them. I plan to pull my samples come spring because I don't want to risk shocking them. I mean, the flava and the purpurea seem to have done good. Same with the, you know, the spatula or the rotundifolia here, and the fly traps might be okay. Again, it's super hard to tell with those fly traps. These are definitely more hardy, but those are, again, it's super hard to tell, but we'll find out. Oh yeah, I got this little sprout here. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's potentially the start of that. Maybe like the initial sprout leaves or something. I don't know if it's clover. I don't know what that is. If someone knows, it's just been growing normally in like the mixes. I get like clover and grass in here. I get some grass and other stuff in here. I've been trying to pull the clover out mainly. The grass I generally don't mind. I want to try to get the moss to grow nice and strong here. This, I probably do need to top water just a little bit. The top layer seems to be a little bit parched, but we do have the water starting to absorb in, so who knows. But anyways, yeah, that's been the update. Hopefully we can get some more plants getting up here soon. If anybody is interested in potentially some, at least flava, and we'll see how many fly traps we can do. I gotta find out if there's any good cultivars in there potentially first. I know there's definitely some great cultivars as far as the flava. Even this little one is a decent little cultivar. But hopefully I can figure out as far as the real bigger ones. I mean, the bigger ones that are there, one plant alone would need at least a 12, 14, maybe larger size pot. They're very, very huge. Big bushes, you know. But if anybody's interested, I don't know if I can ship bigger ones. I know there's potentially some smaller ones, and they did recently have flower going. I don't know if, you know, I don't know how long it takes for seeds to start. If anybody could let me know in the comments, I'll try to get some seeds pulled. But if anybody's interested in some seeds, potentially some samples, let me know. I do have permission from Department of Natural Resources to pull most of the invasives. Not all. We do want to keep some out there because we do want to have them somewhat naturalized, but we do want to do some control on them because they are starting to become too invasive. So if anybody's interested, just let me know. I'll try to find out how to ship and all that, unless anybody knows how to do the shipping and stuff for that. please let me know. I'd love the experience. I'd love the knowledge to be able to ship these out to people to add to their collections. I would do it for free because I can't do anything as far as commercially with these go if I pull them. I wasn't told as far as seeds go. I could probably sell the seeds, honestly, but yeah. Anyways, I also plan to donate a bunch to local nurseries, so be on the lookout for that potentially after next spring. So anyways, catch you guys later. That's been the Old Coats 1. Peace.